It's recording now.
Awesome. Thank you. All right. So again, welcome back to day 2 of your workshop for all things hiring. So today I have a number of things I'm going to cover with you guys today. Again, just to make sure that you are fully aware of next steps, what you can do to best position yourself for applying or being appointed into a position, and just so you can understand all things hiring within the Forest Service. So today we're going to talk about your certificate. I'm going to show you guys what the certificate looks like again, and we're going to go through again how to utilize that certificate. We're going to talk about sharing the certificate, making sure that it's uploaded, on USA Jobs and all of that great stuff. We are also going to talk about hiring events within the Forest Service. So, as an example, Julie just shared that she was hired through the Manners hiring event. So, we're going to talk about those various hiring events that happen all throughout the year within the Forest Service as another opportunity to be hired into the agency. Um, Next up, we're going to talk about hiring processes. Again, I'm going to walk you guys through USA Jobs. We're also going to talk about the DHA hiring process as well as the hiring process that you will go through if you actually apply through USA Jobs. Next up, we're going to talk a little bit about the Rap Connect portal. We've definitely mentioned this to you guys before. Some of you have already started, doing your profiles, which, we wanted you guys to wait. That's okay. But now is the time for you guys to start building out those profiles so that these hiring managers will know who you are and they can contact you for their opportunities that they have. We'll also talk a little bit about this new RAP hiring dashboard that we are utilizing to connect you with leadership within various regions and areas of the Forest Service for more hiring opportunities. Talk a little bit about the hiring surveys. And then, like I said, we're going to talk about USA jobs. So today, again, is all things hiring. On Tuesday, we talked about the federal resume. But again, today we're going to talk about what else goes with that federal resume. So at any given time, if you have any questions, you don't really have to wait till the end. You can either raise your hand and I'll try to answer them as we go. Unless we kind of get a little bit off schedule, we do have a lot to cover. But also we are going to allow some time after, the different points that I want to make for you guys to ask your questions as well. So in the meantime, you can drop them in the chat and I'll get to them. Or you can just wait until we get to the Q&A part. So with that, we will go ahead and get this party started. So let me go ahead and share my screen. But before I do that, is there anyone, how familiar are you with USA Jobs? If you feel like you're pretty good with USA Jobs, you understand it, use the hand raising function and let me know what you are, where you are with USA Jobs. Or you can drop me something into the chat. Let me know, if you feel like you understand it pretty well. If you feel like, there's still some things that are a little scary about USA Jobs. Okay, seeing some hands go up. Okay. Yeah, so USA Jobs can be a bit of a beast, but hopefully you guys will have a good understanding of USA Jobs by the time we're done with the session today. Feel all right, but I don't know what I don't know. That is correct. Don't have much experience. Been using for years since I've been working seasonally for NPS and Forest Service since 2018. All right, cool. Julie, we actually have some seasonals that are part of the cohort that just started. So, I think it'll be refreshing for him to hear that someone, within this cohort was hired after their many years of being a seasonal.
Yeah, it's a huge relief to finally get something permanent after so many years of seasonal and having to deal with USA Jobs every year for like 5 years.
Yeah, totally understand. Okay, all right. Well, now I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen. I'm gonna turn my camera off because I can't see myself anyways. All right. So what happens next? Well, before I start sharing, what happens next is so you guys are going to hit your hours sometime next month, right? If depending on, how much you've been working, some of you guys have taken off and stuff. So everyone may have a different date of when you hit your 960 hours. But 960 hours is the minimum amount of hours that you need in order to satisfy the program, okay, to get your certificate. If you have your degree, you've done a good job, and again, you hit those hours, you'll get your certificate. If you are someone that have not yet finished your degree program, then you will have to wait until you're done with your school program before you are awarded your certificate. So just keep that in mind. The partners are keeping track of your hours, and you should be as well. For those of you that are 12-month RA, whether you're 12 months or 8 months, when you hit your hours, you're able to request your certificate. So, two things that you guys need to remember about the certificate issuance process is one, you don't just automatically get it when you hit your hours. You are eligible to receive it when you hit your hours, but you have to request it from the partner because technically we don't want your clock to start ticking until you are ready for it to. And so, if again you hit your hours at the 6 month mark, but you're in an 8 month term position or 12 month, you can wait until the end and then get your certificate issued. Or if you want to wait till month 7 or 8, to get it issued, you can do that. So again, you have to request it if you want it before your term ends. All right. So when I say request it, that's just a simple email to your partner program manager to say, I would like to request my RAP certificate. So they're going to check to make sure you do have that degree. They're going to check on your hours. And again, as long as you check those boxes, they're going to submit what's called a statement of completion. When we get a statement of completion, that's when we generate the certificate. So another question for you guys. Does everyone know who their RSA liaison is? Raise your hand if you do not know who your liaison is. Okay, I see some folks in Region 4, Region 2. Okay, so in your resource folder, it should be something there, but if not, we'll provide you guys a link in the chat that's going to take you to, we have a new SharePoint. And so I'll drop the SharePoint link into the chat too, and we'll make sure you guys have that. So we'll drop it a couple of places so that you have it. So it's important for you to know who your RSA liaison is. And I'm a little disappointed that at this point you guys don't know who that person is. Or maybe you know, but you didn't know that they were your liaison, but maybe you have talked to them. But if not, we will make sure you get connected because that's the person that's going to issue your certificate. So again, you're going to request it from the partner. The partner is then going to send what we call a statement of completion to your liaison. Your liaison will then draft up your certificate. And then once they draft the certificate, they're going to get it signed and then they're going to issue it to you. And when I say issue, it's going to be issued via an email. And so you'll receive that in an email, save it so you'll have a copy. And we too will have a copy as well. So now I'll share my screen. And I'm just checking to make sure Jack and Alexa, are those hands for the question I asked, or do you guys have other questions? Okay. Can you request your certificate even after your RShip ends, or is RShip ending your last chance? Yeah, so what happens is you're going to automatically be issued your certificate at the end of your term. So you either get it early because you requested it, or you'll get it at the end of your term because your term is over and it's time to issue it. Now, if you talk to some older RAs, they may share that they were able to get their certificate issued much later. That's an old rule. So before we had the DHA, you could wait up, I want to say up until 3 or 5 years to get your certificate issued. You could like put it on hold. But once they implemented the direct hire authority, they had a, made us implement or update a policy that you have to be issued your certificate at the end of your program. So hopefully that answered your question. All right, so I'm going to share my screen now and show you guys the certificate. We're going to talk through that for a bit. All right, so Mimi, if you can just kind of give me a screen check and just say yes that you guys can see the screen.
I can see it.
Okay, perfect, thank you. All right, so this is a copy of the RAP certificate, one that's not filled out. This RAP certificate, well, wait, actually, let me show you this first. So, so the statement of completion, every partner statement of completion looks a little different, but they look very similar as far as the details that they will share. So this is someone's actual statement of completion. So it has their name, it's going to have your partner organization, it's going to list when you started your position, it's going to list the agreement number that you were managed on, this number here. It's going to share whatever your position was. So this person was a law enforcement administration intern. Is going to also list your degree. So she had a Bachelor of Science in Criminal Justice from Hampton University. And then it says as of May 1st, Dari completed her 960 hours. So then she could be issued her certificate. And then the rest of this stuff just talks about, some more background information about the certificate. And then it's was sent by a program manager from GYF. So all of those things that I highlighted and pointed out are required for the statement of completion in order for your liaison to issue you your certificate. So once they receive this statement of completion, then they will go to this document and use all of those details to complete this. So they're going to put your name there at the top. They're going to have your partner name here. Over here is going to be that agreement number. All of this is important so that if we're ever audited or, someone ever questions your certificate, they're able to go back and pull these agreement numbers and pull this stuff and find your documentation as a part of this agreement to support that you were actually in this program. So your agreement number is going to go there. You're going to have your start date here. You're going to have your end date. And then here is where we're going to fill out where you're actually working. So if you're working on the Daniel Boone National Forest, London Ranger District, in the Southern region, all of that will be here. And once they type that in, it's going to be populated up here at the top. So let me just put something just so you guys can see. Southern Regional Office, or I'll just say Southern Region, and then I'll say Daniel Boone National Forest, London Ranger District. So once that is typed in, see it populates up there at the top. So wherever you're currently working or you did your service, again, once they populate all this information, a lot of that will be displayed at the top. Okay, so going on down, it's going to be some more information here. Talks about you successfully completed the program. You have your 960 hours. With this, again, you have to have your degree. So it talks about having that degree, which can be a minimum of your associate's degree. The next piece is it talks about 2 years. So this certificate is going to be good for 2 years upon the date of the signature, right? So once your certificate has been issued, it's going to be important for you to know that date of the signature. So it's going to be here because it's going to be electronic signature. So it's going to be stamped there and it'll also be there. But this is where you're going to want to look for your date so that you are mindful that you have 2 years from that date to be hired. Okay. Gonna be some more information here about the person that signs the certificate. Depending on what level you are, will determine who signs it. So if you're at the Washington office, it's gonna be a director. The director of NPO will sign your certificate. If you are at research station, then the station director will sign it. If you are on a forest, then your regional forester or deputy regional forester will be the one to sign it. So pretty high level folks that sign this document to make it to make the certificate valid within the agency. If anyone below that level signs it and they were not delegated, then it's void. So scrolling on down, Here at the bottom, the second page gives more information about the program, just some background information about what the program is. You know, a lot of this stuff it's not necessary for you, but it may be necessary for someone who does not understand the program. So you may not be hired at the unit that you are currently working on. You may be hired somewhere else. So if you are sharing your certificate with a new Forest Service employee that's a hiring manager, they may not be as familiar with the RAP program. So when you share your certificate, they're able to look at this second page and learn more about what the program is. They're able to understand the hiring authority and how to utilize it, all of that stuff. So it really kind of helps you to have information to share with whoever you share your certificate with. Some of this stuff is going to be on the other document that I'll share with you guys too. We are updating this to provide some more clarification on some things, but I'm going to also show you guys the how to hire guide, and we're going to share that with you again so that you can have another document that supports your hiring process so that whoever is hiring you understand what to do. So let's see. The other thing I want to share about the certificate is that within those 2 years of being able to use it within your eligibility, you can use it for a temp, term, or permanent position. So let's say you're working in Colorado, but you're like, you know, I want to see what it's like to work in Alaska. And you take a seasonal position or a temporary position in Alaska. Using your certificate, someone could appoint you into a temporary position, let's say for 6 months, 3 months, whatever it is. And then you could work there. And then let's say when you're done with that, you're like, okay, now I'm ready for a permanent position. You can use that certificate again to get your permanent position. So again, you can utilize that certificate more than once as long as it's within your 2-year eligibility. Whenever you are issuing or using your certificate, these are the things that are going to be necessary for that hiring manager in order for them to submit the DHA. Is going to be a copy of this certificate. So you're going to make sure you provide them a copy of your certificate if they're going to be hiring you. You're going to need a copy of your transcript. Okay. If you have multiple degrees, an associate's degree, bachelor, master, I always recommend, and it's best practice to provide them with all of your transcripts, just because again, HR will have to qualify you, and you know, all transcripts will look a little different. So you just want to make sure you provide them all of the necessary information that they need to qualify you for that job. You're also going to need, so everything is here. You're also going to need your resume, which let me go ahead and switch over to the document. Scroll down right here. So you're going to need your transcript, you're going to need your resume, you're going to need your RAP certificate, and that hiring manager is going to also need an approved org chart. This is just an organizational chart that shows the boxes of that staff and the box that they're going to be hiring you in. And then they're going to also need a signed and dated classified position description. So that's that document that I showed you guys on Tuesday that shows the PD for that actual GS level in that series. So those are the required documents that they need in order to submit a DHA hire for you, whether it's again temp, term, or permanent. So again, this document, if it's not already in your resource folder, we will add it so that you can share it with anyone that's interested in hiring you, so they can kind of have this guide to go through. And a lot of these other steps and points in here, you know, you can read through it so you understand it for yourself. But these are going to be the things that person needs to do, the hiring manager. So really quick to go through the DHA process, they're going to submit what we in the agency call the SF52 in our system, in our e-tracker system. They're going to submit that with all of these documents. They're also going to, one of the newly things that we just added was that, they need to add resource assistant program direct hire in the remarks section. If you're ever talking to a hiring manager, let them know that you've already been through a level 1 background check. You guys came through that background check when you were brought on board as an RA. So when you're hired, for anyone hired into the agency, they go through that background check. So in the past, RAs they've been initiating another background check for RAs, and it's not necessary. And it builds in more time of your hiring process. So we don't have to do that anymore. So just make sure that hiring manager does that. So once they submit that, it's going to be then assigned to a staffer. That staffer is going to verify your eligibility, education, and qualification. So again, as I like to call it, the Willy Wonka golden ticket is great, but you still have to qualify. You still have to meet the OPM requirements. So looking at your transcript to see what courses you took, how many hours you had in each course, and looking at that positive education piece, as well as your specialized experience. So remember on Tuesday, we talked about your experience and everything that you need to qualify for your experience. So they're going to be looking at your resume and your transcript to get all of that stuff to determine what GS level and if you even qualify for it. Once they do that, then they're going to have to advertise the job for 5 days. 5 days, right? Not necessarily on USA Jobs for everyone else to see, but it's gonna go live just for specific groups. So we have these displaced employee groups called, ICTAP and RAP lists. And through these priority lists, we have to clear them before we can move forward with you in the position. So again, HR they will have to advertise the job for 5 days just for these specific groups. And just so I can share, some additional information, I have not seen, knock on wood, I don't know if I have any wood. I haven't seen anyone express interest and be qualified from these lists and take that opportunity away from the RAs. But just know that if someone does express interest from this list, they too still have to qualify for the position. So it's not just automatically their position if they express interest. They have to qualify and meet other requirements, and then they have preference, but the position is yours if no one expressed interest or they're not qualified. So just remember that, and that's only for 5 days. So once you get through that, then you should be smooth sailing through the rest of that particular part of the hiring process. So that is the process for DHA, the Direct Hire Authority. I'm going to pause there and see if there's any questions specifically for the Direct Hire Authority.
I have a question.
Yeah,
sorry.
go for it. No.
Whatever the DHA does on the back end to give you an advantage and be really helpful with hiring and everything, is it kind of the same as once you're in the agency for 3 years? You would be able to, I think it's 3 years or something, as an internal employee who's been there long enough, it's easy to convert you into other positions in the same way.
So wait, let me make sure I understand what you're saying. So you're saying you're asking if RAP is the same as the status that you receive after being in the government for 3 years? Is that what you're asking?
If the DHA is the same, like if you've been in the agency for over 3 years and there's an internal position that hasn't been posted and you want to convert into it, is it pretty much the same thing as having a DHA?
I won't say that it's pretty much the same thing as having the DHA. The DHA can be equated to our other direct hire authorities, such as for those that have a disability, what we call a Schedule A hiring authority, where you can, they have the same process where they're able to bypass certain steps. But if you're a permanent employee and you're looking to take another position, either one, you have to apply for the position, or you can be laterally transferred into another position, but it has to a lot of times, really line up with the same GS level and same series and all of that. So there's other ways to kind of go into another position, but I wouldn't put those on the same level.
Okay.
Yeah. Looks like Michaela Hall joined us and she's tackling some stuff in the chat. So thanks, Hall. Let's see. So can you wait? So Courtney, I see your other question. Did I already hit that already for you?
Yeah, that it would be automatically issued at the end of the RA-ship.
Okay, yes. All right, already answered. Jillian, does it need to be an official transcript Okay, so Michaela already hit that yes, it can be an unofficial, and they will need eventually your official. But again, rule of thumb, you guys have graduated college, is in my mind, a great practice just to have a copy of your official transcript for anything that you're doing. But whenever you do get hired and they make the official job offer, you will have to have that official copy sent directly to HR. Where does the PD come from? The PD is something that your hiring manager will have. We have an internal kind of a dashboard, if you will, where we're able to pull PDs. And so there's a PD attached to everyone's position in the agency or every box on an org chart. So that's going to come from the hiring manager. So whoever's going to hire you, again, make sure you ask them if you can look at the PD to make sure that you, again, tailor your resume and align it with that particular PD, just to make sure you're on the safe side with qualifying for the position. Does it exist prior to a job being advertised, or do you work with your future supervisor to create it? Are you talking about the PD, or exactly what do you mean by that, Leanna?
Yeah, sorry. I was just confused because I thought you were saying that you had to provide the hiring manager with the PD, but you're saying that they'll provide it to you and then they also submit it.
So yeah, there's 2 items on there that they have to provide, that they're gonna need as a part of the required documents, and then there's items on there that you're gonna have to provide. They're gonna need the PD and they're gonna need the org chart. You're gonna need your transcript, your resume, and your certificate. And you're gonna give that to them. And with that, all 5 of these documents are required documents for the DHA.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, so I'll read these last 3 questions and then we'll move on to the next thing and we'll come back around. So from Cameron, do we have to provide evidence of our background check that we had? No. So with that, you don't have to provide any documentation or evidence. It's already in the system. So what happens is, not to like go into too much detail about this, but when a new person is hired into the agency or a new action is filed to hire someone into the agency, or into the federal government, you have to go through a background check, right? So when there's certain groups that are going to receive these actions, so just like when we onboarded you guys, you filled out certain paperwork and then you submitted it and then it triggered another action or it went to a certain team. So when a new action is submitted into the system, it goes to personnel security. Personnel security has what we call an intake team. This intake team, their job is to receive an action and initiate a background check. There's a list that the intake team has that has folks, it has names on it, that lets them know or indicates that this person already has a background check on file or one has already been initiated. You guys are on that list, okay? So what happened was this intake team, they didn't know much about RAP. They didn't know what kind of background check you guys were going through. So they weren't necessarily looking for you guys on the list. Had they looked for you on the list, they would have saw RAs in the past, but they didn't look because they didn't know the program that we required a level 1 background check. So now that I met with the personnel security and the intake team, and I brought it to their attention of what you guys go through. They're aware of it now. So your hiring manager will just put an extra note in that 52 that says Resource Assistant Program Direct Hire, which is going to be a flag for them to say, hey, this is a RA hire. Check the list. They should be on the list. They already have a background check and you should be able to move forward. So if you are being hired and you see that something is being held up, then just ask your hiring manager if they put that note in there or remind them to put the note. Because again, this is a new thing. And the last thing I'll say about background checks is that the only other reason why your action could get held up because of background check is if there's anything that came up that was that triggered further investigation. And so they call that suitability. So if you guys remember that form you guys put out, I think it was it's a OF 306. You will have to fill that out again, and you will have to do fingerprints again. You won't have to do the entire thing again, but fingerprints and the form. And the reason why is because a lot could have happened between when we first onboarded you guys back in December, January, and now, God forbid, hopefully this may happen, but maybe you got arrested, or maybe, something happened. And so you're going to have to update us as an agency on anything that has happened between when we first did your background check and now. So if anything comes up, they have to see that. And so that's the only thing that you're going to have to do is do that fingerprint and that form again to see if there's anything that has changed. Again, if something has changed, they will have to do further investigation. If nothing has changed, you're okay. So hopefully that helps. I think Michaela got that one. Is there a way to get your DHA time extended, like the past 2 years? And follow-up question to that, what do people do when they go to grad school after their term? Do they just forfeit their DHA? Yes. So if you are issued your certificate and you decide to go to grad school and your grad school ends up being longer than 2 years, then yeah, you'll lose your certificate because that clock doesn't stop. And I think I understand the first part of your question. You were asking, is there a way to get your DHA time extended? Like, yeah, it can't extend past the 2 years once it's issued. All right, the last question I'll take. Well, I don't have to take that one. Michaela already got it. Okay. Thanks, Michaela. All right, so with that, I'm going to move forward from the certificate and the direct hire authority, and we're going to talk a little bit about hiring events. So let me switch gears here. So for hiring events, we're going to share with you guys, again, there are various hiring events that we have throughout the year. So just to name some, we have the SRM Society of Range Management hiring event that happens in February. We also have the Manners hiring event that always happens in the month of March or April every year, which is where Julie was hired in. We have our SAF hiring event that happens in the fall. You have your STEM hiring event, which is gets after all your engineering and your landscape architect type positions. So there's multiple hiring events that happen all throughout the year that are for specific series and groups. So with that, it's the hiring event is focused on students, but internal people can also apply. So it's kind of merit and demo, internal and external. So if you are within 2 years of graduating college, then you're still considered a recent grad. So if you apply, like I'll use Julie again as an example. So I'm not sure when Julie graduated, but let's say Julie graduated within the last 2 years and she was still eligible for her recent grad. When she applied for that position, she could have applied, if she already had her certificate, she could apply as an RA with that certificate, with that merit status. She could have also applied as a recent grad. So again, once you get your certificate, and if you are still within your 2-year window of eligibility for pathways, then that means you have 2 opportunities to make what we call a cert. And I'll get more into that when I get to USA Jobs and we go through the process. I'll kind of explain what a cert is then. But again, take advantage of that when you, if kind of you fall under that category, okay? If you are not within your 2 years, then you'll just be utilizing your direct hire authority certificate to apply as merit or internal for those positions. And for any other positions that are advertised on USA Jobs that are open to the public, you can apply for those too. So we have these collective hiring events that happen all throughout the year. One of the things that happened last year is that we started working with the collective hiring event team to prioritize wrap hires, meaning technically you don't even have to apply to USA Jobs to these positions. If you work with our team, the Washington office wrap team, and express the interest in these positions, then they're able to prioritize your hire within that event, meaning you get first dibs, right? So we have multiple hiring events. So that's why it's really important for you guys to stay engaged with our wrap team for all of these hiring events. So you have your collective hiring events. We also have what we call the We team. And I'll just show you guys this is not something that we'll share, but I'll just kind of show you. So we have the WE team, which stands for the Workforce Entry Team, and these are some of the position numbers that they're targeting to hire this year. Let me go to the series. Yeah. So these are the series, right, that they are wanting to target. These are the occupational areas. So they're wanting to target foresters, forestry techs, natural resource specialists under the 401 series, natural resource techs and biological science techs, engineers, engineering tech, administrative support, program management, social scientists, and some positions within biz ops and CFO. So these are series that you can be looking up the PDs, or you can look them up on OPM to see what the requirements are. And like I said, we're going to be working closely with this team. So if you know that you are an engineer, then when it comes time for them to fill the engineering positions, you can work closely with our team and not even have to apply to the position. And you will just, again, have first dibs on the positions and the locations by working with our team and that team to prioritize rep hires. So all in a nutshell, RAP is being prioritized for these events. So you have your hiring events that have dates that they will hit USA Jobs. But if you are a RA and you have your certificate and you are interested in being hired and you work with our team, your action is going to happen before it even hits USA Jobs. And again, you'll have first dibs as long as you qualify. Okay, so yeah, we usually send out a survey to ask RAs, are you interested in being hired through this event? If you respond to us, you move forward. If you don't respond, we don't continue to contact you. We don't want to blow you up and share information that's not relevant. So that's that for the event. All right, the next thing I want to cover is going to be the Rap Connect portal. So let's pull that up. Question. All right, what does that look like in terms of the options provided to us? Will they connect us with the hiring managers? Thanks for that question, Michael. So what it's going to look like is we'll send you a survey. When we send you that survey, you're going to respond back. The survey is going to pretty much be asking, what was your RA position? What are your qualifications? When was your certificate issued? Are you currently a Forest Service employee? Because again, you can use your certificate more than once. So we got to ask that question. So we're going to ask all those details. And then let's say it's an engineering event. We're going to share with you the list of positions and locations that we're going to be looking to fill. And we're going to ask you to provide us your top 5 locations of interest. You're going to share with us your wish list, and then we're going to go through that to validate that the position is still going to be filled. You're going to provide us all of your documents, such as your transcript and your resume. We're going to provide your documents to HR, and they're going to go through what they call a pre-qualification check. So again, you're still going through an HR evaluation. So HR is going to pre-qual, and then they'll let me know, okay, Sylvia, Michael is qualified for a GS 7-9. And, as long as you picked out a 7-9 position, then essentially we'll be able to match you with that one. So we just did this event a couple months ago. And so we had some RAs that were matched or whatnot to a position with that 401 hiring event. And so it's as simple as that. If they were matched, so we share with you the list. You find your locations, you put them in order that you would like, and then we match you with it as long as you meet the qualifications. So again, stay connected to our team. When we send the survey out, respond to the survey, and you will be a part of that. But if you don't respond, then you won't. So that helps. So the survey comes out periodically. It just depends on when they let me know that they're about to do that event. Then the survey will go out. And we usually send it via email, but we also drop stuff into your Teams groups as well. So the other thing I'll say about that is, so as an example, you guys saw that list. So we already did the 401 and they just wrapped up the 462. So once they let me know which group they're going to do next, then we'll reach out to you guys. So now switching gears to the Route Connect portal. Michaela, just let me know that you guys can see this.
Yep.
Okay. So the Route Connect portal. Again, this portal was created for you guys to have a platform so that you can connect with hiring managers on this platform for opportunities. We are working on this platform to bring it in-house, meaning bring it into the Forest Service. But until then, it is an outsourced a platform. So we're working through that right now, but that doesn't really matter to you guys. But when we switch over, if you already created a profile, when we do make that switch, you may have to create a new profile, but we'll see. So again, we recommended that you guys waited before you submitted your profiles for approval, just because we didn't want hiring managers reaching out to you and you haven't received your certificate. But now that you're at the point to receive your certificate, it's okay to move forward with creating a profile. However, do not send Vanessa an email for approval until your whole profile is complete. Okay. So if you go to this page, you're going to click sign. Well, not sign. Let's see, or register. So if you click that, if you already have created your profile, you just sign in. If you have not created a profile, over here on the right side, you're going to put sign up now. Okay, make sure that you are on the appropriate sign up sheet for resource assistance. Make sure the resource assistant is highlighted. For Forest Service employees, if someone asks you how to, find other RAs to be hired, or if you become a Forest Service employee and you're looking to hire an RA, we still have this platform. You're going to click over here and make sure that hiring manager is blue and highlighted, and you're going to fill this out. So you really have to be careful, because I've had people to sign up on the wrong list and not work out for them. So make sure that you are on resource assistant, you fill this out and you sign up and you get your profile activated. So once you do sign up and you have a profile, just because you have a profile does not mean that your profile automatically goes live. So again, we have to approve it, but we don't approve it until you let us know that you're ready for it to be approved. So I'm just going to go through a couple of these tabs here just to kind of point out some stuff. So the job opportunities. So either you click job opportunities or you can go to the drop down and click job listings. So two things can happen on this platform. You can create your profile, and myself and other Forest Service employees can find you and look at your profile, look at your resume and everything, and contact you to express interest. Or you can simply just go here and click on job opportunities or job listings, and then you can go through here and find a job that you may be interested in and reach out to that person. So as an example, let's say, oh, that's a pretty high one, 12. Let's find something on, I like 7-9-11s. Let's do this one. So here's a grants management specialist position, 1109, 7-9-11. That means career ladder, means that you don't have to be qualified at the highest level, but you can be qualified at the lowest level, which is the 7. And then you can bump your way up all the way to the 11 without having to reapply and stuff, right? So that's what a career ladder is. 7-9-11 means you automatically get that bump every year. If there were a lot of positions listed here, you could use these filters on the side to look for archaeology, conservation education. If you were looking for a specific region, you can narrow it down by the region. If you wanted to narrow it down to, again, a specific location, or positions that were posted within the last hour, you can do that. But we're going to just click this one. Okay, so the application deadline has closed on this one, but it's okay. So it says apply by June 23rd. Down here it has the job details. So it says the areas of knowledge is human resources, budget, finance, and administration. And then it gave a job description. So this position was for NRS within research station, the Northern Research Station. And it was said that they were conducting a pre-vacancy announcement outreach. So that meant before they advertised it on USA Jobs, they're doing an outreach now to see who is interested in their job before they go to USA Jobs, because they may not have to go to USA Jobs, right? And so even here, they put an extra note. Please indicate that you are eligible for RAP DHA. So that lets you know they are truly interested in hiring an RA. So if you had experience or you wanted a job within grants management, you could have sent him an email with your resume and again indicated that you were eligible for your RAP DHA, and then you guys would take it from there. So again, here's some duties that Kim provided so that you can kind of read through to see what that person would be doing. Another place to pull buzz and keywords, maybe before you sent Kim your email with your resume, you might want to say, all right, let me use some of these words so I can let Kim know that I've done these things. I just didn't use her terminology, so let me use her terminology. So again, just wanted to point those things out there. Okay, so that's that. Let me see if there's one. Click on this one, maybe this one's still available. Okay, yeah, so this one is still available until July the 14th. So the same thing, they have a job description here. They have point of contact information down here at the bottom if you want to talk to someone about it. And then, of course, I'm not logged in as an RA, but if I was, I would simply click apply. And then it's going to alert Eva that I have expressed interest in her job. Okay, simple as that. So make sure you guys are really taking advantage of this. I think hiring managers get a little discouraged when they post jobs and no one expressed interest. They're like, oh, these RAs don't want to be hired. So really take advantage of this. This was created for you. So take advantage of it. So that's that for that part of the portal. The other thing I'll show you is the second link. If you click the second link, it's going to take you outside of the RAP Connect portal and bring you to the Forest Service Employment Outreach. So something very similar to what we created for you as RAs, but this is for the agency. Still something available to you. You just have to make sure that you are mindful of what you're looking at. So in the government, you have outreach and you have advertisement and announcement. Advertisement and announcement means it hit USA Jobs. Outreach means it's just outreaching. They're just trying to see who has an interest, who's qualified, what does that look like for them? And so based off of that response, we'll let them know if they have some easy button hires, meaning RAP hires, Schedule A, veterans, anyone that will bring them an easy way to hire, easy, simple, and effective way to hire without going through USA Jobs. Or it may let them know, as an example, this position is a 12, the second one. So let's say there were a bunch of GS9s and GS7s that expressed interest, and that may let Jessica know that, hey, even though it's 12, we should probably post it as a 9, 11, 12, so that those that did express interest could qualify. So there's various reasons why a job will be outreach, but if you can catch a job in outreach phase, that's the best time to catch it before it goes to USA Jobs. So again, if you click that link in the RAP Connect portal, it's going to bring you here. And so what you can do is you can just use these filters. Let's see. Where is the, okay. Yeah, so if I wanted to look for a certain series, this is the series column. So I could just search for it. So again, if you don't know your series, I encourage you to do your homework on OPM and work with your mentor to find out the potential series that you could be qualified for, but you could just easily type in a series there. Here in the position type, you have some positions that are temp, some that are perm, that lets you know if it's a temporary position or a permanent position. You guys are not entitled or eligible for details. So if you see something that says the detail, then just know you can't do that. Those are for Forest Service employees only. But let me see if I see something that shows. Okay, so this one, it says it's a term appointment. You could do that one, but I was trying to see if I could find one that says temp without a detail, but I'm not seeing one. That's okay. Anyways, just wanted to show you guys this page. So we're going to go back to this. So just some other things that we have on this RAP Connect portal page. We have some instructions on how to utilize the outreach database, the Forest Service one. So again, the first one is RAP Connect portal job listings. The second link is going to be Forest Service Employment Outreach. We got some FAQs here for you. All right, so all of these are some great questions. So, our staff gets really busy, so take the time to look here to see if your question can be answered here before you reach out to someone. But also feel free to reach out to your liaison. And again, I know a lot of you expressed that you don't know who your liaison is, so we'll make sure that you do know who that person is, so that you can reach out to them. If you click on the Forest Stewardship page, it's going to take you to yet another page outside of the portal. Gonna load in just a second. All right, so the Citizen Stewardship Program just talks more about other programs that we have in the in addition to RAP. So it talks about RAP partners, RAP participants, and volunteers. It has, some different things on here that you can learn. Let me see. So if you click on the RAP participants page, it talks more about, again, what the program is, objectives, benefits, career pathways, roles and responsibilities, how to apply. We have some success stories. And again, share your success stories, because then you could be the next phase of the RAP program. We can replace these guys and put you up here. And then we have some downloads. If you ever want a copy of your RAP cohort booklet because you lost it or something, you can come down here and find that. It'll also be on our SharePoint site too. And again, we'll drop that into the chat box. All right, so we're gonna go back. All right, so yeah, so that was pretty much what I wanted to show you in the RAP Connect portal. Are there any questions about the portal? Stop sharing and feel free to raise your hand or come off of mute. Okay, so no questions about the RAP Connect portal. All right. Has anyone already created their profile? Not yet. Okay. Okay. All right. Well, we'll move along from RAP Connect portal. We're gonna take a break since we're at the top of the hour. Yeah, I'll drop it in the chat. We're gonna take a break, and so I'll drop all the links that I talked about dropping or sharing. I'll drop them in the chat while we're on a break. So we're gonna take a quick 10-minute break, come back at about 4:10 Eastern time, and we'll continue this journey, and we'll go into the dashboard and USA jobs when we come back. And again, in the meantime, I'll drop these links in the chat for y'all. All right, everyone back. Give me some thumbs up so I can make sure that we have enough folks back to get started. Thank you, MJ. MJ's always on it. Thanks, Savannah and William. All right. So looks like Mimi, we're talking to a couple of you about things. Maybe we were talking to you guys about the rap portal, profiles, and resumes. Yeah, I mean, Zach, sell yourself, like what is it that you want a hiring manager to know about you? What are these, amazing or unique things that you've done in your previous experience that you can highlight as accomplishments that would make a hiring manager say, oh, I want to talk to this person. Look at your Rap Connect portal and your resume the same. Like it's your introduction without you being there. So just let that be something that kind of leads you in how you want to build out your profile. And that summary piece, is going to speak for you before you can actually speak for yourself physically. So so just take that and write it out. Let someone else read it. Ask one of one of your friends or a fellow cohort member or someone, anyone that you may have been connected to in the agency or with not even in the agency. So the same way you have someone that reviews your resume, have somebody to review your profile and say, hey, tell me what do you think about this? Especially if your mentor is not going to hire you, then they're going to be your biggest advocate of helping you get hired somewhere. So maybe even ask your mentor, say, can you take a look at my Rap Connect portal and let me know if there's anything that I'm missing, anything else that I can share that help me stand out to a hiring manager. All of those things would be great. So just my little advice on that. All right, so I'm gonna go back to the Rap Connect portal just for a second, just to show you guys the profile. I'm pretty sure we went over this with you guys before, but maybe not. So I'm gonna go back in, and then we'll go to the dashboard and then to USA Jobs. So before I go to USA Jobs, no, not that one here. Just doing a screen check. You guys can see the screen.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. All right. So you're going to see none of this. This is my view when I go in as an admin person. But I just want to show you what it looks like for us. So we have a lot of people up here that have not been approved just because it's not time to approve them for various reasons. Either they have not received their certificate yet, or they did not do what we asked, which was complete your entire profile. So again, unless you complete your entire profile, you're going to sit here in this candidate box. But if you do create your entire profile and everything is there, you send us an email to say approve it. We can go in on the back end and approve it. But let's see. I want to go here to show you somebody. All right. So if a hiring manager was looking for an RA and they go to the Rap Connect portal and click that, this is what's going to come up. It's going to be, a list of RAs. Okay. And their names. Rule of thumb, once you get hired and you're not looking for a position, go ahead and deactivate your page because you don't want it to be assumed that you're still looking for another opportunity. But anywho, so a hiring manager can come here if they're looking for someone that had an undergrad degree, they can filter for that, or master's. Let's say I'm looking for someone that has archaeology, and I was open to them. They were open to going anywhere. I would just not even do that one. So this is who I have. So then I could click someone's name. So this is what someone's profile looks like. So when I say build out your profile, this is what I mean. You're going to have your resume that's here ready to be downloaded about Taylor. So Taylor wrote this narrative about where he was working. Scrolling on down, we have the degree for Taylor, archaeology heritage. All of this was put in so that again, a hiring manager can find him if they put in these areas of skills. You can put up to 5. These are the geographic areas that Taylor was interested in. So again, if I did filter and I put in New Hampshire or Washington, then Taylor would have came up. If I didn't, Taylor would not have come up. Taylor's certificate is good until December 9th, 2024. Here's some information here in the About Me section. So the About Me can be looked at as like your summary on your resume or your cover sheet of your resume. So this is your freestyle, right? Tell them about you. This is where you can share those interesting facts about you that would make them say, this sounds like someone that I would really enjoy working with, not just because of what you know as a subject matter expert, but just because you're a good person and maybe you share the same, hobbies and stuff. So whatever you want to share. So the rest of this part is going to be kind of like a snapshot of your resume. So there's Taylor's educational piece about the master's and bachelor's degree and associate's degree, the experience, worked on the Apalachicola with the Green and Youth Foundation as a resource assistant, and a little bit about what was done there and all of the other experiences. So scroll down. Languages, just English, relevant trainings, have his relevant trainings listed, and that's it. But again, if I was a hiring manager, I could read through this and I could be like, Taylor sounds awesome. Let me contact Taylor. So I could put my information here and click send now, and it's going to send Taylor a message. I could also save Taylor to come back and look at Taylor again, or I can click this and download Taylor's resume. So again, this is kind of what you want your profile to look like, right? This is what we'll approve. If you don't have anything in your about, anything in your narrative, if you don't have anything listed in your about me, we're not going to approve it. So are there any questions about the Rap Connect portal profile before I leave here? We can't get a profile approved unless the DHA is activated, right? But we wouldn't want to activate the DHA before we have a job in the works. So my recommendation, 2 years is not a long time, but it is a long time. So if you know that you are actively ready to be hired, get your certificate right away. Don't wait, because the agency has made it very clear that they want to hire all RAs that want to be hired. So you don't want to put yourself in a position where you decide to delay or wait on your certificate, and then someone reaches out to you and you're like, oh, I need to hurry up and get my certificate, and you miss an opportunity. So again, if you know that you're ready to be hired, get your certificate as soon as possible. That's my recommendation. But if you know you're going to go to grad school, or you know you're going to be doing some other stuff and you're not ready to be hired, then you can wait. But again, it's going to be issued at the end of your term regardless. So that's what I would say for that certificate. Yeah, so even if you don't have a job in the works, you don't want to delay a job that could be in the works if you have your certificate. Is it good practice to not have a profile picture of yourself? Yeah, we ask that you not put a picture of yourself in the portal. All right, so moving along from the portal, the other thing I want to show you guys, again, this is something internal that we're using. This is something very new, something we're still playing around with, but because we really want to utilize it, I want to go ahead and share it with you guys. So our data support person on our team, data specialist, Barbara McGinnis, created this. So in this database, we have all of the resource assistants that we are tracking. And through the reports submitted by the partners, we have information as far as when your certificates were issued. So again, I'll use Elmer. I'll use Abraham as an example. So Abraham, we have him having a bachelor's degree in environmental sciences from the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill. And this actually came from what you guys shared with us in the very early days of your RA-ship that went into your bio. So this is just information that you share with us based off of your interest. And again, just some quick information that shows your RAP certificate time. The reason why we created this database or this dashboard is because leadership was asking us, Sylvia, can you share me a list of RAs that have a certificate? Well, if they go to the RAP Connect portal, they can look at you individually, but they couldn't pull a full list. So this will allow them to come here and filter to say, you know, if they're looking for someone with a certain degree type, certain interests, educational level, associate's, bachelor's, a certain deputy area, the area where the RA worked. So if I was a hiring manager, I'm like, I want someone that worked on my forest. I could, you know, look for all the RAs that worked on, you know, the Angeles National Forest, etc. So what we're wanting to do with this, we haven't decided, and maybe this is something that you guys can help us out with. So drop this in the chat for me. We want to be able to provide real-time updates to the regional foresters of each region, the directors, you know, everyone that's looking for someone to hire within their region, station, area. Again, this is information that you provided to us very early. So we're going to need to update this. We want to have real information that kind of aligns with what you're going to have on your Rap Connect portal. But the only way we can do this is if we maybe put out a survey and ask, like, you know, what are your interests? What are you looking for now? So that then we can come here and update this and not have stuff that, you know, we're using from when you first started. But my question for you guys is, how often would you like to be contacted about your current work status, or, you know, if you are currently looking for a job or not? Do you want to be contacted quarterly? Do you want to be contacted monthly, bi-monthly? What is too much? You know, we want to know that, because again, we want to make sure that we're sharing with leadership exactly who wants to be hired. I don't want to be sharing with them a list and you're on the list and you're like, stop contacting me. Or, you know, I don't want to not share you and you are interested in being hired. So just drop me some stuff in the chat to just kind of let me know what you guys are thinking as far as being hired. Quarterly. Okay. Keep them coming. I see a bunch of quarterlies. Awesome. Thank you. Continue to share. Leah, I'll get with you separately if that's just an issue with just your profile. All right, I'm gonna take Brian's question and then we'll continue forward, and I'll get ready to go ahead and switch over to USA Jobs. Okay. Brian's question, hypothetical. Assuming one gets hired from the Connect portal and then finds themselves wanting a different job within the 2-year DHA period, can they, one, go back to using the portal to be advertised to a hiring manager? Yes, you can. 2, update their profile and resume with their newly gained experience after they made their Rap Connect portal. Yes. Yes and yes, Brian. So yes, you can. You can use your certificate more than once. You can go back to the portal and use your portal to connect with the hiring manager again. And then the second part to that is you can always go and update your profiles and your resumes and stuff like that. So yes and yes. All right, so we're in USA Jobs now. So a lot of these jobs I really did not apply for. I mean, well, I applied for them, but through doing stuff like this, examples, I'm not really out here applying for this many jobs. So we're gonna go through USA Jobs a bit. Again, if you have questions, raise your hand, drop me some stuff in the chat, and we'll just go through that way. So I'm gonna go back to So this is the home screen. If you go to usajobs.gov, this is where you'll come to. So USA Jobs, this is the federal government platform in which we use to fill positions, whether it's temporary positions, internships, permanent positions. There are some departments and agencies that have other platforms that they use for higher level positions or very specialized positions or executive level type positions, but the majority of positions are funneled through USA Jobs. So through USA Jobs, you're able to create a profile. I'm already signed in, so it doesn't say create a profile, but right here, it usually will say create profile if you haven't already. Down here, it talks about just giving some information about USA Jobs, some of the things that you can do about, saving your favorite jobs, which I'll show you guys how to do that, uploading resumes, how to make your resume searchable, how to apply. I'm going to walk you through that. The thing that I really want to point out on the home screen is here, the federal hiring paths. So there are several different icons here that indicate who can apply for the job. So every job or announcement on USA Jobs will let you know who is entitled to apply for that job or who's eligible. So you got jobs that are open to the public, meaning, again, exactly what it says. This who can apply for this. Anybody can apply for this, U.S. citizens. Veterans, those have veteran status can apply to these veteran positions. If you were a part of Peace Corps or AmeriCorps, VISTA, if you are a current federal employee, if you are a military spouse, again, if you're within that student recent grad that I talked about earlier, the 2-year window, if you have a disability. So all of these special authorities, this is where you guys come in. This is your icon, this little gray, white asterisk little icon, that's your special icon that reflects your resource assistant program positions, special authorities. So if you want to learn more about these different groups and what it takes to qualify, you just click on it and then you can learn more about that group. And each group, there's going to be required documents that will support you claiming that particular group. So again, if you're a student, recent grad, it's going to be like your transcript, your resume, all of that stuff. Federal employee, you're going to need your performance evaluation. You're going to need your SF-50s, all of those documents that support you being a federal employee. If you're claiming a RAP, you're going to need your RAP certificate and other documents. So again, you can click through these to see what you could potentially use in addition to your RAP certificate. Also, if you have a disability, that one for the disability, we have Schedule A. It's another direct hire authority. All you need is a letter from your doctor that states what your disability is. Okay, so wanted to show you that. So as we go into USA Jobs, I want to show you 2 ways to search for jobs. So the first way is going to be by just searching for a job. Well, actually, let me back up. Let me go to my profile. When you create a profile, you're going to have to fill in all this information. So until you start putting in applications, this is all going to say 000. And then once you put in an application, this is your dashboard. It's going to show you all of those previous positions that you have applied for, what the status was when you applied and all that good stuff. Okay. The saved one, if you go find a job and you hit saved on it, it's going to save it here. So let's say you were on USA Jobs, just taking a look to see what was available, but you weren't ready to apply that day. Then you could save a job and then you could go back later and apply for it later. And instead of having to look for it again, it'll be still here as a saved job as well as saved searches. So yeah. So going into the profile, I'm gonna go through this really fast, but this is my personal information. Personal information. So we're gonna scroll on past that. All right. So at the top piece was like, yeah, you're gonna be your address, your phone number, and all that stuff. And then you got your demographic information, all of this stuff. I have my experience listed here. As you can see, I have not updated this because definitely not GS9 anymore. Haven't been for a long time. We're gonna go past that. I don't have any military experience. All of this is previous information about myself, my degrees, languages, organizations, references. So it's kind of like a snapshot of your resume, if you will. Okay. So if you come back up here at the top, you're also going to want to make sure you keep your email address current. I can remember when I applied for a job, I was using my Forest Service email, and then we switched. We used to have Forest Service emails, and now we got USDA emails, as you guys know. And when we made that switch, I still had Forest Service email on here, so I was missing some notifications. So make sure you keep your profile updated with all of your updated information. So when you click on documents, you have your resume tab here. You can upload up to 5 resumes. So as you're creating a resume, I always encourage people to have your master resume and then have tailored resumes. And so here you can see I have, a few resumes. A lot of these are old from previous jobs that I probably applied for. And then I have my newest one that was updated last year. So whenever I'm applying for a job, I would just click one of these resumes to go as a part of my application. But let's say that you have done a lot of different things and you are looking for a field position, but you also maybe looking for something in research, and you have these resumes that are tailored for those jobs. When you apply for the job, you're just going to pick the resume that you want to go on that particular package. So this allows you to not have to, go searching for your various resumes. You can just put up to 5 here and use whichever one you would like for your job. This little circle means that I want this resume searchable. So whenever you make your resume searchable, that means that other hiring managers or recruiters, those that use this to find applicants, will be able to find you because you made your resume searchable. If you don't make your resume searchable, then they won't be able to find it and find you through USA Jobs. But if you make it searchable, they will. The other thing, so they got an extra note here. I do not want recruiters to see my resume or profile. Do not make my resume or profile searchable. So you don't want searching for you. You want to go find them, then you just click that. The other thing about resumes is this is also where you upload or build. So, we talked about resumes on Tuesday. So if you've already created your resume, you're happy with it, someone's already checked it, you got a thumbs up, you're going to click this and you're going to click upload. And you just upload it just like any other document. If you want to build a resume, you're going to click resume builder. So I'm going to say, call it something. And so, of course, all of my old information is here because I've already did this builder. But let's say I wanted to, if I already created something and I didn't want to start from scratch, it already has my own information. So I can either edit it, I can delete it, I can add more work to it, I can edit it, and edit the entire thing. So once I go through, my work experience, gonna go through my education, and then you got your references, job-related training, language and skills, organization and affiliations, professional publications, additional information, and then finish, right? So now I have just created my 5th resume and I can't add any more. So I'm going to delete this because I don't want that. Well, maybe not. I'll wait. Anyway, so that's how you do your resume. Again, tip about resumes, it doesn't matter if you do the resume builder or create your own, unless it actually says that you have to have a particular one. The other thing here is other documents. You can have up to 10 supporting documents. So documents here can be your DD-214 if you were in the military, your SF-50 and stuff if you are a federal employee, that OF-306 that we talked about earlier, your transcripts, your any supporting documents. If you have a certificate that you know that you're going to want to add to your application package, anything like that, as well as your RAP certificate. This is where you're uploaded. So again, you can have up to 10 documents. So same thing, you just click upload document. You'll type in the name of that document. So you'll put in RAP certificate or RAP DHA, and then you'll just click other, or if it's your cover letter, whatever the document is, you'll put the document type and then you can upload it. Okay, so that's how you upload documents. You got your preferences. This is just like preferences as far as your travel, if you're willing to relocate, if you're willing to travel within a position, your desired places to work, if you're looking for permanent positions, term, temporary, seasonals. All of this is important for you to have, again, especially if your profile and your resume is going to be searchable to recruiters so that they know exactly what you're looking for, okay? All right, I'm gonna go back. So before I go into searching for jobs and stuff like that, I want to pause and see if there's any questions about filling out just your profile. Are there any questions about filling out your profile or uploading documents? Okay, not seeing any questions. All right, we'll keep going. So we are going to now look into searching for jobs. So you can search for jobs by searching for a department, an agency, series, different things, keywords. So someone dropped me a series in the chat that you would like to use as an example. And we'll see if it's a good one to use if we have any Forest Service jobs. 0810, Savannah's fast. Let's see what we got for civil engineers. So USA Jobs has a lot of little indicators to let you know. So this is telling me I haven't updated my profile in 6 months. Well, I'm not looking for a job, so we're just going to exit that. All right, I'm going to remove all these filters. Okay, so when I search for a series, it's going to pull up all the jobs that fall under that particular series. So this is, again, a civil engineering series. If you don't know what your series are, then we can help you find your series that are appropriate. And there's a lot of series that are just general series that anybody could qualify for. So when you search for your series, the next thing you want to do is come over here to the right side and play with these filters. If you were just looking for a job right now before you even hit your 960 hours and you wanted to find something that was open to the public, you'll click open to the public, and it's going to go from 308 jobs to 208 jobs. So that means there are 208 jobs right now that you can apply for as just open to the public. Let's say you are within your recent grad window of 2 years. You can click that. And then this shows you all of the positions that are posted on USA Job, not necessarily Forest Service, but government-wide, that are posted for those that have that are still eligible for their recent graduate. Okay, this graduation cap indicates that. So we went from 308 to 7. All right, we're gonna take that off. So can anyone remind me or tell me what icon I should be looking for you guys? Special authority, exactly, this one. All right, so when I click the special authority, I'm going to show you guys a better way to search for this, which is kind of showing you how to play with the filters. So when you click special authorities, it shows you all special authorities in the government. But for your special authority with your certificate, you're going to want to look for Forest Service jobs. So, but here it shows you all the jobs that are posted for special authorities, regardless of the department or agency. I'll take this off. So there may not be no jobs on here for engineers for special authorities right now, but we'll see. I'm going to scroll on down and look for jobs that are within a particular grade. So if I had a bachelor's degree, then I would want to look at jobs up to a 7. So I'm going to click just 5 and 7s. So now we went from 308 jobs to 55 jobs. Okay, so the purpose of showing you how to use the filters is so that you're not climbing through 308 jobs, right? You want to be able to understand how to use these filters so you can narrow it down to exactly what you should be looking for. If you have a master's degree or something, you can go a little higher. If you have a PhD, you can go a little higher, but it's going to be important for you to understand these. And so again, typically a bachelor's degree will get you GS5, GS7s. Sometimes I've seen 8s and 9s with a bachelor's degree, depending on if you have a certain amount of specialized experience to go with it. But in most cases, the GS9 is going to be like your master's degree level, and then 11s up, 12s especially, are going to be PhD and higher, or specific specialized experience. And again, remember when it comes to qualifications, it's going to be either that degree or your degree and your experience as a combination. All right, so the next thing we can do is open up the department and agency. If you know that you are specifically looking for positions in the Forest Service, we're going to click Department of Agriculture. And then this narrowed down to 5. So it's a lot easier to go through 5 jobs than it is 308. Okay, so everybody clear on how we got here to use those filters? We did the department and agency, and we did our series, not a series, our grade levels. And that's how we got from 308 jobs to 5 jobs to filter through. Let's say it was still 200 jobs. You could filter it on down to the agency by clicking agency and finding Forest Service. And now you got just the Forest Service jobs. All right. Let's go. We'll go into this one, but I want to find a job for you guys that has your has your special authority on it and not open to the public. But this is a job that has been posted in the Forest Service. It's the GS79. Again, that means that the highest this position goes to is a 9, but you can come in as a GS7. It opened on the 1st of May. It's going to be open until September 29th. Jobs are not always open that long. Sometimes they're open for 5 days, 10 days. So you really have to be careful with looking at jobs and when they're going to open and close. But you can also find some information here. So this says, it talks about it being an open and continuous announcement. So anytime you see dates where it's like a long period of time, then that's the indication that this is an open and continuous announcement. I mean, they are filling multiple locations, multiple positions, and they're just receiving applications. Okay. And it says the application will expire every 90 days. So that means after your 90 days are up, you're going to want to apply again. Really quickly, I'm going to click save. And then I'm going to find another job. So if I click save and I go back and click on my name, now I have the saved job. So if I wanted to go back to that job and actually apply for it later, I just click that and here's the job. So then I can apply. Okay. So that's the beauty of not waiting to go to USA Jobs when you're actually ready to apply, but going through there to find jobs, just to see what's available that you may want to apply to later. And then you can just save them and then, easily find them later. All right. So I'm going to try to find something that's a little more common that we could probably find on USA Jobs. I really don't want to do that one. Let's see if it's a 0401 or something. All right. Let's see. Okay. Trying to find a Forest Service job that has authorities, special authorities. 4462. I don't want to use this, but we'll use this. Okay, so we have a forestry technician, timber sale administration position. It's a GS10, 11. There's your indicator right there that tells you that you can apply for this job. So this job was posted on the 12th of June and it's going to expire next week, the 5th of July. So I'm going to click on this job. So it says that this position is in the Rocky Mountain region, region 2. Talks about how this position serves as a designated Forest Service representative as assigned by a contracting officer. We already again know the opening and closing of this job. It has the salary range, your pay scale 10, 11. It has 8 locations that they are trying to fill. So when you apply for this job, you can show interest in the locations that you want to be considered for. It has all these other details that may or may not be important for you. If you're just opening anything, then you open anything. But if you have certain restrictions, it's going to be important for you to know if a job has relocation, telework, and all that stuff. So it's not remote. It's a permanent position. You can qualify or you may qualify for some reimbursement or relocation expenses. Full-time schedule, promotion all the way to 11. 0462 series. No drug test, no security clearance. Vacancy number. This announcement number is the number you're going to use with HR if you apply and something goes wrong with your application, or if you have follow-up questions about your application. You can reference this number and then they'll be able to pull up your application and answer your question, let you know where you went wrong or why you didn't qualify. So going back to the top on this side of the page, it says this job is open to, and it tells you who can apply to this job. So there you guys are with special authorities. Clarification from agency. Here you are right here. Resource Assistant Program. So this is all the indicators that you want to find to make sure that you are good to apply for this job using your authority. So special authorities and finding yourself there. Scrolling on down, you're going to go through the duties to make sure you understand what the position entails. Again, a place to find buzz and keywords for your resume. Going through the requirements and qualifications. This is the second place you're going to find those buzz and keywords. Remember, I talked about on Tuesday, looking at the specialized experience for each level, putting those buzz and keywords on your resume. Scrolling on down, talks about your education. Again, this is a tech position, so it's not that big of a deal on the education, but for a lot of your professional series position, it gets very specific of what how the education requirements you have. And again, it gets all the way down to how many credit hours you need to have in specific courses. This gives a breakdown of how many positions they're filling with all of those locations. There's some additional information if you just kind of want to learn more about that stuff. I'm going to go on down, how you will be evaluated. This is that third section that I pointed out on Tuesday as a place to find those additional buzz and keywords for your resume. And remember, when you get to this section, you are going to click this questionnaire to find those questions that we went through. Required documents. These are the required documents that you're going to need in order to ensure that you're not kicked out of consideration, because you don't have the appropriate documents. So you must have a resume, and it tells you exactly what needs to be on your resume. Again, Tuesday we went through the very standard things that are needed on your resume, but remember I told you it's always best practice to go through this to just make sure that there's nothing listed here that you don't have on it that you need to add. This talks about your transcript. And if you didn't believe me, here you go right here. An unofficial copy is sufficient with application. However, if you are selected, you will be required to submit official transcripts prior to entering on duty. So there you go, to back up what I said the other day. The other stuff, some of this other stuff don't apply to you. It just depends. It tells you, if this line applies to you. So this one's talking about current force service employees, veterans, et cetera, et cetera. Here's your bullet. Resource assistance. You must submit a certificate of hiring eligibility dated within 2 years after completion of the Forest Service Resource Assistance Program and college transcripts. Okay. So again, you need your resume when you're applying, and then you need your transcript and your RAP certificate. And then it has some other stuff down here about how to apply, all that good stuff. And here's a number you can call and an email address. Again, if you have questions about your application, if you get a notification that says that you were ineligible or you didn't qualify and you feel like, it's a mistake, then you can email them and reference that announcement number that was at the top right here. And then they'll be able to pull your application and answer your questions. Okay. The last thing I want to point out is when you apply for a job through USA Jobs, it's important to know that the day that it closes, you have until 11:59 Eastern Standard Time to get your application in. So 11:59 Eastern Standard Time on the day that it closes. There are some times where jobs are announced that have cutoffs. So they may say they're going to take the first 100 applications or the first 100 qualified applicants. So even though this job is open to the 5th, if they say they're only going to take the first 100, sometimes once they hit the 100, it's going to be removed that day. So it's only going to be open until the end of that day. So search for jobs and make sure that you are staying on top of this so that you don't miss something. The other thing that you can do is, well, we talked about how to save it, but you can save the searches and stuff. So we're going to go ahead and apply for this job really quickly. Not going to go through everything in detail. It's pretty simple application process, or most parts of it is simple. So the first thing you're going to do while you're still in USA Jobs is select your required documents. So it first wants you to select your resume. Remember, I have 5 resumes. So you want to make sure you name them in a way that you know which one you want. So let's say I want to use the one that I just played with today. So the green check mark indicates that it's ready to go. If you're not sure, click view so that you can look at it and make sure it's the right one. So we're going to click that. It's green. So we're good to go. We're going to click continue. All right, the next thing it says is to select these other documents. So these are the other documents that I had listed in my profile. If you want to be sure that you have the correct documents as a requirement, because this is the easy knockout for a lot of people, we're going to open that required document section. So resume, we already did that. It also asks for a transcript. So I'm going to click my transcript. Make sure it has the green check mark. Then it asks for a RAP certificate. I'm just going to play like this is my RAP certificate, this DOR. So I have my certificate, I have my transcript, and I already did my resume. That's all I want. Save and continue. Review package, resume is good, transcript, certificate. You can share your demographic details or not. How did you hear about this? I searched on USA Jobs. Save and continue. All right, so that's all you have to do in USA Jobs. Once you answer those questions and attach those documents, then it's going to take you to the actual Forest Service application system. So you're just going to wait. All right. We are in the Forest Service application system. So all of my general information there. So rule of thumb, if you don't know what it is, it probably don't apply to you. If it starts with a veteran and you know you're not a veteran, keep it moving, okay? So a lot of these questions early on are going to ask you about certain eligibilities. Again, a lot of them will not apply to you. So for me, I look for keywords. Do you claim veteran? I'm not a veteran, so no. This one says, are you a current USDA employee? If I'm an RA, let's say I'm an RA. I'm an RA right now. I'm not Sylvia. I'm not a Forest Service employee. I'm an RA. So it says, are you a USDA employee? I'm going to say no. Take your time to really read through this to make sure. But this is just how I do applications. Are you a current or former permanent farm service? No. This is about federal employee. Are you a current federal employee? No. These are easy ones to just say no to because a lot of them start off with, are you a current or former employee? So if you were never a federal employee, then you can easily go through a lot of these. Same thing. This one is for disabilities. If someone was claiming the Schedule A, but I'm going to say no. This one was talking about PLC program. I'm going to say no. This one is talking about registering. Have you registered for reemployment? I wasn't a current or former employee, so I'm going to say no. No again. No again. Are you a former resource assistant with the U.S. Forest Service? Even if you are current RA, as long as you have your certificate issued and you have it on your profile, we're going to select yes. If you apply for a job claiming that you are a resource assistant and you do not have your certificate uploaded, you will be disqualified or ineligible. Okay, so make sure you click yes. Make sure your certificate is attached. So I'm going to say no, no. All right, so it has the locations listed. If I'm only interested in Grand Junction and Rapid City, then I'm just going to put that. Select the lowest grade that you are willing to accept. The lowest one for this one was a 10, but let's say your job was a 579. I always say click the lowest level that you have there. Doesn't mean that that's the lowest, that's the level that you're going to be hired into. Are you a current or former political appointee? No. All right, so this is now going to go into the assessments. A lot of this stuff pulled straight from the announcement. That's the reason why it's important for you to take the time to go through the announcement before the application, because a lot of stuff can be answered there. So that first question of this assessment talks about selecting the statement that best describes my experience that I demonstrate to perform the work of a GST and forestry technician. A says I have at least 1 year of specialized experience. The 9, remember the other day I talked about it only takes 1 year of specialized experience at one grade level to be qualified for the next grade level. So this talks about the 9 being qualified for the 10. If I had that experience, I'm going to click yes. If I click B, then I've already disqualified myself when I hit submit of this application. So it's very easy for a person to be qualified for one level and not the next one. So let's say this second one, I'm not I don't have, you know, a year as a GS10, then I'm going to put that. So just because I put yes on one and no on the other doesn't mean that I'm just automatically disqualified. If I put B on both, then I'm done. After you answer those questions, now it's going to go into those questions that I was showing you guys the other day about the specialized experiences. So this first question talks about reviewing timber sale contracts and related pre-sale data such as preliminary login, plan environmental assessment reports, and appraisals. So if I've had that experience, or if I have not had education, training, or experience, if I click that, I'm getting 0 to no points. There's a point system. If I click B, that says I have the education or training, but I have not yet performed that on the job. C says that I have performed this task. My work on this task was monitored closely by a supervisor or senior employee to ensure compliance. D says I have performed this task as a regular part of my job. I have performed it independently and normally without review by supervisor or senior employee. E says I am considered an expert. It does not say I am an expert. I am considered an expert in performing this task. I have supervised. It does not say I am a supervisor. I have supervised the performance. So again, don't let that trip you up of this task. And I'm normally the person who is consulted by other workers to assist or train them in doing it. So if someone talks to you like, hey, can you show me how to create this map on GIS? Or can you show me how to do this? If you have done that, you've shown someone else how to do it, give yourself credit. A lot of people shoot themselves in the foot because they feel like they literally have to be an expert in a certain task or that they have to have been a supervisor. You supervise the performance. Okay, very clear. A lot of folks lose out on opportunities through USA Jobs by answering these questions wrong. So take the time to read through each question and make sure you answer appropriately. So someone could easily go through here and put E for every answer and be at the top of the list. And then HR will go through their resume. And if they don't see this on their resume, then they would disqualify them. So whatever you are saying that you did in this application, make sure it's reflected on your resume. So I'm just going through this just to get through the application. A lot of questions. We're almost there. All right. And then this last one is just saying that you were truthful. You truthfully answered these questions. We're going to click continue. All right. This next part of the process is about the document. So it's required to have a resume, and it's going to show the 3 documents that I had clicked earlier to attach. So my resume was the wrap. You're not going to find wrap over here. Okay. So you're going to use, here's my transcript. That's AMU. And then where it says other, that's just my play wrap certificate. Okay. If you forgot to upload a document, you can click here to upload a document that you're missing. So just to do a quick check, I got my AMU transcript, I got my wrap certificate in the other, and I got my resume. So all of this looks good. If I would have missed some steps, this would not be checked. So long as you got green check marks, you're good to go. You can always click on these areas to look back at what was there to make sure everything looks good. I'm going to click there that I acknowledge everything is right. I'm going to hit submit. I have now successfully applied to a Forest Service position. And now you can return to USA Jobs. You can also view or print that application. When you go back to USA Jobs, it's going to now be reflected in your profile right there. Here's the job right here that I applied to. If for whatever reason tomorrow morning I wake up and I think that I did something wrong, I can just go back into this job and edit my application. Once the job is closed, like this one, I cannot go back and make any changes. So as long as the job is still open, you can edit. Okay. So that's how you apply for a job. That's how you search for jobs. Hopefully that was all pretty clear to you guys and helpful. I'll pause and see if there are any questions. Okay, looks like Michaela was answering some stuff in the chat. Thanks, Michaela. If there's anyone that have any questions that you want to just raise your hand and come on mic to ask your question. Or if I missed a question in the chat and Michaela didn't get to it, just let us know now. So how you guys feel about USA Jobs now? Do you feel like you have a little bit of better understanding of what it is, how to search for a job, how to play with the filters, how to apply, how to answer those questions? You guys feel a little better about it now? Okay, I got a thumbs up. Thanks, Victoria. Mike. All right, so there's no questions about USA Jobs. All right, well, either you guys are tired of me talking and you're ready to enjoy the rest of your day, or you guys really did learn something and you feel more comfortable and you're ready to dive into USA Jobs on your own. So again, USA Jobs can be a bit of a beast, but once you really break it down and understand how to utilize it, it can be easy and more user-friendly. But we're here to support you, myself, Michaela, the RAP team. You have Forest Service recruiters, you have liaisons. There's a lot of folks that are here to support you. Again, we're going to be reaching out via survey to see, when you want to be hired, where you want to be hired, get some wish lists from you. We really want to hire all of you. So as long as you want to be hired in the agency, you will be hired in the agency, but you do have to do your part. And by doing your part, I mean, creating that profile on the Rap Connect portal, responding to us in these surveys, and just, engaging with us. So we're going to be here to help you as much as you allow us to help you. But again, you have to do your part. So are there any more last minute questions or comments?
I have a question about once you're already hired as permanent, the process of like getting a different job, like after a year or two or whatever, like moving into a different job. I've heard that it's much easier than even like using the RAP DHA. Can you just like maybe explain a little bit of that?
Yeah, I would say it depends on how flexible you are. You have some folks that they don't want to leave their current forest or current district. So whenever you limit yourself, and you're not as flexible, then you limit your opportunities to move up and move around. But I would say as long as you're open, there's a lot of opportunities to either be laterally transferred or just simply apply for another job. But also don't assume just because folks are federal employees that they're just getting every job that they apply for after they become employed, because that's not the case. There's a lot of Forest Service employees or just government employees in general that apply to jobs and still don't get them. And it's simple things. They upload the wrong documents for the required document section. They don't answer the questions right. It's always something. So again, I won't say that it's easier to get another job once you are an employee. Yes, it does open you up to more opportunities, but they can still make those same mistakes that a new applicant could make. So you just have to be careful there. But I won't say that it's easier.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. The only thing that I will say as far as that could potentially make it easier is that that person has more experience maybe than the person that's, trying to get their foot in the door versus the person that's already been working. They probably already have experience.
I have a follow-up question. If you like, if I say I'm in my new permanent job for 2 years and my DHA is expired, and there's something like an equivalent, right? If I were to like stop working for the Forest Service for a certain amount of time, then how long do I have to maintain like I guess permanent status or whatever?
3 years. There's a thing called reinstatement.
Okay, gotcha. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions? Real quick, I see Brian has a question. So Brian, what I would say about master's degrees and other higher education, it's totally up to you. One thing that I've learned about the federal government is that your experience can carry you, right? So I have a bachelor's, I have a master's. My master's has nothing to do with what I'm doing, nothing to do with what I've done in the past. I got it just as a backup plan, but I have not needed it. My experiences have carried me from literally, what did I start out as? I've been a GS4, And then when I graduated, I was a GS7, then a 9, then 11, and then 12, 13. Like I didn't need my master's. So it's a personal choice. Some positions, it look good when you apply to have, those advanced degrees. But what I have seen in the federal government, your specialized experience hits more than the advanced degrees. They will help you to compete against other people. Yes, it looks good to say this person has a PhD or they have a master's, but it's not a requirement. So it's a personal thing. What does each degree typically qualify you? So typically, again, this can vary on the position, but typically, a GS 5, 7, 5 through 7 could be like your bachelor's degree level. So if you have a bachelor's degree with no specialized experience, you can typically apply and be qualified as a 5. If you have a bachelor's degree and some specialized experience, then that can typically get you a 7. I've seen some GS 9s that will take a bachelor's degree, but not all, just some. But typically like a GS9 would be like a master's degree. If you have like a PhD, then 11th and higher. But again, they can vary by the position. So that's kind of a general outline. You can find more information about that on OPM, and I'll give y'all that link as well. But again, a lot of stuff is really going to be position specific. So it's important for you to go through USA Jobs, read through the announcements to get a better understanding of that particular announcement. But I'm going to drop into the chat the link to OPM to look at the series and qualification. General schedule, qualification standards. Okay, this is the page. All right, so I'm dropping that into the chat now where you guys can go and look at more series and get a better understanding of the series and qualification levels as far as the GS pay scales and stuff like that. One other thing really quickly that I want to go over real fast. If you apply through USA Jobs and it's a single vacancy announcement, meaning it's one announcement, one location, that's it. What's going to happen next is you apply for the job. You're going to go through those assessment questions. You're going to be graded. HR is going to go through your resume, make sure everything checks out. If it checks out, they're going to create a cert. There's a cert for each grade level. So the job example that I gave was a 10-11. So there's going to be a GS10 cert, and there's going to be a GS11 cert. So depending on which one you are eligible for, let's say, again, based off the example, I put no on the 11, so I wouldn't make that cert, but I could potentially make the 10 cert. It doesn't matter which one you're on. That just gets you in front of the hiring manager. So once they create these certificates, they'll pass that certificate to the hiring manager, and then the hiring manager and the panel then decide who's going to get an interview. So that's when you're going to get your interview. After you interview, they make a selection, they make a job offer. So that's the typical process. Who is next? Does experience working towards a degree count as work experience? Does experience working towards a degree? I want to make sure I understand what you're asking. When you say experience, the experience and the degree part is kind of getting me. Can you come on, Mike?
Maybe my mic.
Yeah, I can hear
works.
you.
Yeah, so like I was working on a PhD, but my advisor retired and whatnot, so I'm not going to be able to complete the PhD for numerous reasons, but I still spent like 3 years beyond what a master's would be doing work towards that PhD. So I'm just wondering how like field work, technician work, all kinds of data collection,
Right.
data analysis.
Yeah. So all of that can count as experience to help qualify you for a job. When it comes to the education piece, because you have a certain amount of credit hours for a advanced degree, then that can help too. So in the qualification section, you'll see some announcements might say if you have 24 credit hours of I forgot what the exact terms that they use. But for a graduate degree, towards a graduate degree, then you can apply, you can qualify for a GS-11. So just because you may not have finished that degree doesn't mean that you can't qualify for that next grade level, because there are some positions, again, that will say that you only need a certain amount of semesters or hours in that graduate level degree. So it could potentially work for you both ways, if that makes sense. Does that make sense? Okay.
Yeah, it does. Thanks.
But definitely use your experience, because I gave that example on Tuesday. I was a forester. My field work that I did as a student, I used that as experience because it was all still forestry work, all still the same.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Reinstatement. No, you're not a federal employee, so that reinstatement doesn't count. Our time is already count towards. It doesn't count towards that. It will count towards, getting your benefits such as the leaves. But again, my advice on, trying to get that, I know some RAs have been successful with it, some have not been successful, but please know that it will delay your hiring process if you try to get that time, that credible service time added. So yeah, sometimes it's not worth it, especially if you only work for 6 months, 8 months. Oh, sorry, I didn't see that somebody else had already answered. Thanks, Michaela. All right. All right, well, I want to be mindful of your time. Are there any other questions? If you are extended in your RHIP, does that mean you can wait those extra months to act? Yes, yes. If you were an 8-month RA and they extend you for, additional 6 months or something, then you can push that certificate off. All right. All right, well, thank you guys again for attending day 2 of your workshop. Hopefully this was beneficial. Hopefully this was useful information, something that you feel like you can take and use it and apply it to, apply for these jobs, or understanding how to talk to hiring managers about how to use the DHA. Again, we're here to support you. We'll make sure you have all the resources that you need. Just FYI, I'll be gone by the end of August. I'll be gone on maternity leave, but Michaela will be here. You got recruiters, you got your liaisons. Everyone will be here to support you, but you do have me until the end of August. So if there's anything I can do to help support you until I leave, then please let me know. But I will be returning. It'll just be a while. So, all right. Thanks, everybody. Have an amazing rest of your day. Have a great long weekend and be safe. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Julie. Mimi, you can stop the recording. Let's see if I can. Michaela.